A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin dusts it off. Right in front. Another chance. Backhand score! It's Brian Russ with the goal. Rarefied air to Hall of Fame career. 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball. Separation. Touchdown. George Pickens.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, right here in the lower level, right up from the lower lot at 5100 West Library Avenue in the Municipal Building. Thank all of you for watching. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching us on Facebook. We've been holding steady there, like 7,244 followers. So this old guy learned a few things. Last week, I forgot to say, we had so much craziness. I won't mention the guy, but I got my haircut at a Zazu. Amelia gave me a great haircut, and it's a week later, so I'm still high and tight there till it starts winging out. But thanks to all my fans that recognize that and like the pictures. And we appreciate you on Facebook and keep interacting. Last week we had some problems. Chief McElroy's on, so it's working this week, Nick.
It was in that stupid, up this way picture, but once the show ended, it went back to the widescreen.
I know. I told you right at the end of the show, people were commenting, and I go, stay Joey's.
It wasn't anything we could do. So,
yeah.
But it looks like we're normal this week.
So now, thank you on the YouTube page. We're at 262. I got the smartphone. Get me one more like with the hundreds of people watching. Just give us a like. If you're on TV, go on your phone. Google Pittsburgh Sportsline on YouTube, all right? Just find that, and we'll go from there. Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier. So you sit up a little taller than Nick there for a second.
Scoot in a little bit, too. You're like way off the end.
Look at
Come on in. Come on.
He has one of my Coliseum Combat Zone LLC T-shirts. It's a 6X. Omar the tent maker made it, and I got it, and we have other gear like that. We have polos and everything, and we got a major announcement coming up with our new date. So we need you to stay tuned. We'll be talking about when we're going to have our first event. The state messed us up all year. Got to blame the state. Somebody's there. I had everything lined up, including my production crews. Smoking Jim's black tie tux with a black top hat has been on hold for almost a year. They're holding my money. So he's looking good there, and I won't mention the free hat he's wearing, but we got Nick Callis. He's Steelered up. We got Raging Mike Rohde. He's Steelered up. And I'm just doing Pittsburgh Sportsline. We got promos. We forgot the art and music one.
I remember it, though, so I can tell people about it.
Well, we'll do that right now. Wow. Chance, put that mic on and camera.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Callis, and I'm on Pittsburgh Sportsline. But I'd like to tell you about the first annual Bethel Park Arts and Music Festival that's taking place on July 27th. You'll see many artists there that we know, like the Prassacks, right? Jono Prassack from Jono's Art Studio. J.P. Dyrul, who's a photographer. We like him as well. We like everybody that's going to be there. A bunch of musical artists being performed. Watch around town on BPTV to see two bands that are going to be featured. But that's going to be July 27th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. all across Park Avenue and inside the Bethel Park Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. Join us there. I don't know. I might
10
be there.
a.m.
Jeez, Nick, if I ever need a commercial done, I'm hiring you.
No, why do you think I let him do it? It's from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Right. All across Park Avenue, right there by the Schoolhouse Arts
and
and
there
History
will
Center.
be shuttles by the Port Authority.
Right.
So stay tuned where parking is, and even Smoking Jim, whatever he's driving, we'll find out. We can let him park somewhere illegally, and then we'll pick him up.
Okay, well.
All right.
And now on to these next ones, yes.
Great. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Okay, we got so many people here. I'm hearing it from one guy, so we're ready to go. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier? Hold it. Let me take a sip of my color-coordinated
Very nice.
orange Fanta in Bethel Park.
Thanks,
Go Blackhawks.
the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got
Jeez.
the
And
That was the fastball.
That was
handled
a fast one,
That was the
man.
fastball. You never threw one, so you handled
I tell
it.
you what, man, not everybody's going to give me credit, but my favorite singer, senior Marco, and the freshman sensation Mikey already gave me credit. I was the first one, and I said it after he threw his first pitch, that Paul Skeens should be going to the All-Star game this year. And I tell
Yeah,
what,
you were right again.
Nick was the first one to jump on the bandwagon, and then slowly but surely everybody started jumping on the bandwagon. Because when I look at my crystal ball,
Wait, was
I'm
I?
fairly
Are you
wrong.
implying I wasn't on the bandwagon?
No, not
Of course
at
you
first.
should. What do you
After
mean
his
it wasn't?
First pitch. I said it after he threw his first pitch.
Okay.
So you a game or two after that, you got on. But like Roberto Clemente always says, for me, Paul Skeens is 10-0.
Yes.
You know, in the record books, he's 5-0, but he's 10-0. And congratulations. Plus, Al Levine, the Taco Machine. I seen his beautiful girlfriend on a national commercial. So she's doing.
You know what?
some
You're so
great stuff,
late to
too.
the party with Livy.
She's been on national commercials before.
Yeah.
Boy, she pretty. I posted.
She
her
makes
today.
more
She's a Steel City-
NIL money than anybody.
Huh?
She only got 5 million followers, so you're one of the few.
She's not still in school, is she? She's out, right?
She had to graduate.
She graduated.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what's on my mind.
Glad you
Paul
know so
Skeens.
much about her. All
Paul
right.
Skeens.
Nick Callis, after that disrespect he gave you, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I don't remember ever saying, I never.
You didn't.
I don't think I dissented from the Paul Skeens conversation. I think that I was always on board with he would be good. And I think I actually fought a few times with another one of our co-hosts because I was so passionate that Paul Skeens would be good
That's true.
that I really defended him and I defended the Pirates' decision.
Smoking Jim, do you
As you
take
grab-
back what you said then? You just agreed
I
that
just
he
said
did.
after the first pitch, I said it.
That doesn't
And
Then he would be an all.
He got on quick after a game or two.
No, you
Yeah, I
just-
mean, look,
I give him credit.
I think I always had faith in Paul Skeens, and I think I was actually calling for him to get called up last season.
Yeah, you did.
If you don't remember that,
You did.
So,
I remember.
so where
Hold
you?
it, ding,
No, I'm
ding.
saying
So
the
my-
All-Star. I said
no, my
after the
question is
first
just
pitch,
where
I said
you-
he should go to the All-Star game. So I was a little early.
Hold it.
on
I
it.
gotta
You
play-
thought I was a little early.
Excuse
on
me.
it. Everybody
When did I say that?
Wait.
When
hold
did I
it.
say that?
Stop.
Review the tape.
I have to play mediator right now because the children are
Play the
playing
tape
in the
back.
sandbox. I'm
Yes.
throwing it up right now. That cake was terrible. Here's the sandbox. Smoking
Nobody
Jim.
want to give me
Smoking
credit.
Jim's the best entertainer I know. I won't say he lies, but he's not honest. Nick did say he should have been brought up.
Exactly.
So that
He was.
means he was ahead of you.
I'm saying All-Star.
No,
game.
he was.
I'm saying 2024
Wait.
All-Star game. I
Can
was
you
the first
turn
to
his
say it.
mic down? Nick,
He's-
tell them to shut his
Shut
mic off.
his mic off for a second.
Yeah, shut
he's
his-
number 4.
Yeah, shut number 4
I never
down.
heard of him until Nick started talking about him. Nick got
He
me
was
on it.
ahead of you.
Yeah, but I'm saying
That's
I was
my
the,
point.
My point is
All
I was
right.
the first
Next, Nick.
in the
it out.
world
You know
that
what?
said he should go to the 2024
I know
All-Star
exactly
game,
what
and that
we're-
was after the first
I know
pitch.
exactly what we're doing here. Smoking's the only person I know in history that can make an agreement sound like an argument. Because we're all agreeing right now.
Thank you, sir.
He's just saying.
I just agreed he was late. He was first.
Okay, so
That's the mediation's done. That's why Smoking Jim, the mic might be shut off on the next segment
right. So at any rate, so let's.
while he's chewing and choking.
What's on my? I don't know what's on my mind now because that happened.
Tell him what you're happy
Oh, the
about.
Pirates. Here we go. They are not good, but they're good. And it's really frustrating because you could say that about every other team in the National League this year. And there's actually, I think, 6 teams in Major League Baseball. The American League has a little bit more of a spread-out race. But I think that there's 6 teams in total. 4 from the American League, 2 from the National League that aren't in it right now. Or that I think would be willing to sell. So while I wanted to stay optimistic as long as possible, we're starting to trend toward a little bit of like, okay, reality's kicking in here. This team is good. We can call them good. They're good enough to win some games. They're good enough to be close to 500. The problem is that they're not good enough to go on a winning streak. They're good enough to just stick around. And unfortunately for them this season, it seems like the Pirates have had rotten luck for many of the previous recent seasons. The wild card game is something I've been frustrated with before, and that misfortune, the Cardinals just being really good when the Pirates are really good. Now it's everybody in the National League is good, and so who are you going to trade with? Who are you gonna negotiate with? There's nobody really to negotiate with in this case because I know that the Pirates wouldn't necessarily be just automatic sellers for prospects. So what other National League team can you think of right now that's going to try to engage in conversations with the Pirates? They're just going to give up some of their veterans and wave the white flag? I think not. I mean, the Mets and Pete Alonso seem like an interesting case, a potential negotiation, but they're ahead of the Pirates. Why are they going to give up any guys? They're almost there. The Toronto Blue Jays, they're about 8 games out of a wild card spot in the American League, but we're still halfway there. They're still competing in one of the toughest divisions. I mean, are they just going to part with him if they feel like they can make a run and they can add themselves? it's a really tricky situation, and I'm sad because I'm setting into the reality that the Pirates probably won't find any partners to negotiate with or make a deal with, and so they're going to have to rely on being good enough as they are to win. Either that or they're going to become the sellers, and they're going to have to be the ones acquiring prospects and acquiring talent that can take them into a future season. So the reality is that right now I don't think, and that's why this is what's on my mind, I don't think that they're going to be good enough moving forward to be able to win enough games or go on that winning streak they need to make the playoffs. They're not, and it's very sad. And but that's kind of where I am. It's a really tricky situation though, and there's a lot of misfortune. And now my thought train has gone off course because I got somebody raising their hand on one side, and you're laughing for whatever reason.
He's choking on pizza.
Are you choking on pizza?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it, though. I guess that's the summary. That's what's on my mind. So what's
No, this is easy. I'm not trying to be intimidating, but I go back. People ask me about the problem with the Pirates, and I go, it's Nutting. Now, remember back a few weeks ago what he announced?
Yeah, did you read the story that came out? That's what you're alluding to, yeah.
That's why
That's a tough one.
I had to raise my hand because I tell people I love the Pirates. Baseball is my first love, but I'm a disgruntled Pirate fan.
Mm-hmm.
They all go, how can you be a fan? I go, I like the team and the logo, except when Smoking Jim's wearing it. But I don't like the practice of what they do. And Nutting doesn't mind, like the rest of sports, lying. $70 million a year not doing anything to improve makes a difference. I brought up the point, and it was in the article, when we had 98 wins, most scouts that I know that are professionals say you get a player that could win you 5 to 8 games because that could get you in the World Series. What do, Nick? Dismantled the team.
Yeah.
After 98 wins. So that's
hey,
why
they got a pitcher, though. They got John Neese.
I understand. Yeah.
He was traded back to the Mets for Antonio Bastardo. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, when you're trading stuff like that, I'm not hopeful. I don't get caught up in the drinking. I'll drink my Fanta.
More like
Not-
fantasy land, right?
Yeah,
the Pirates.
Not pirate Kool-Aid. So your opinions are well respected. Your thoughts are there. You're in what we call a quandary because you don't know what you should do.
But I mean, like, even if we're talking about just blanket spending money, like, what could they logically do at this point? Like, I'm not discrediting your point. I think that article that came out is not a great look for the Pirates.
Well,
It's
it
not.
opens it all up.
I'm not saying, I'm not, discrediting that, but, like, I'm just looking at this from, like, what could they do, and who would be good enough to acquire to be willing to part ways with some of the big names? I like the word quandary. It's a nice word.
Look
what I mean?
it up in the dictionary.
I like that. It's
Wagnalls.
It's like a tough situation. It's like in trouble. It's like in a mysterious trouble.
And like for you to simplify it, it would be, what are you going to do or say next?
It's a hard decision to make. Yes.
Yeah, and keep chewing.
But I mean, as much as
And you look good in that shirt.
as much as you might want to blame the ownership, though, like I'm not trying to fan service the Pirates. I'm really not. But like, I don't know what you would do logically in this case. Sell the team? Is that what you're going to say?
No. Here's what I'll tell you. The only one you can blame is Nutting because he has all the things lined up to change it 5 years ago. They're doing what he wants to. So he's happy with what he has. So his mission is complete. He doesn't have to change a thing. He got us all jacked up and
But like, who else would you spend money on right now? Like, that's
Nobody.
my point. You see what I mean, though? It's like,
No, I'm with you. I agree.
they should be spending into the hundreds of millions, maybe overspend slightly on certain players. I'll give you that. Reese Hoskins would have seemed like a nice piece.
Yeah.
Gary Sanchez, maybe, even although he's not even doing that well this year.
No, I wouldn't have
So,
gone him.
like-
He may be on the downward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But my thing is,
like, what do you do? Like, I want an answer. So, like, comment on Facebook, comment on YouTube. What would you do? Because I don't know what I would do. It's just such a tough situation.
here's all you do. When we get 14 runs, be thankful. When we get shut out, be thankful. When we have good pitching,
All right, let me
we look for that.
let me
So
clarify
the
that
small
question.
things.
if you,
You
were
don't do anything.
Let's try again because we can be grateful for every game. What would you do
Well, yeah.
what would you do as the Pirates to make a move to make the playoffs? Then in that case, That's really the question I'm asking.
Fire Shelton.
You think they can make the playoffs if they fire Shelton?
Yes. He's made a few mistakes with doing different
I
strategies.
have been on the fire Andy Haynes train. So.
Well, you're not going to help. Here's what happens when you have guys. There's only 11 300 hitters, Chip said, to bring it up in the NL. We don't have one of them, and most of our guys are near the Mendoza line.
Reynolds is close.
Yeah, well, the three.
How did he make the All-Star game? Just having a great month of June. That's
I know.
awesome.
I know. One good month should do it, and then why is not Keller in there? So
Yeah, he's been more consistent. At least.
yes, and he's
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but we have good pitching now.
Yes.
So all you need is a little offense. I say bring up some minor leaguers because we have a better minor league system than we had 5 years ago.
All right, who would you bring from the minor leagues?
I don't even care.
Well, it might matter. That might matter.
I don't care.
Hold on. Now, it would matter a little bit. We got to have some names here at this point. We got to put some people in there that we know who they are. You know, but like who? Now, Jake Lamb not getting caught up before when Rowdy Tellez was struggling. That hurt my
Can
feelings.
we get a couple players from the Savannah Bananas?
I can't believe you know who they are. Congratulations to you. That's awesome.
I know. See, he does read stuff or he's told things.
But
No, Nick, I'm not being serious.
the repetitive question just keeps flowing. It's like, answer, help me out. What would you do? What could they do that would give them a better chance to make the playoffs? I don't know. Myself, it's a tough season this year.
To be honest, I don't have an answer with you.
Okay.
And my thing is, if things aren't working, sometimes you have to be a disruptor. Mike's a business guy. Sometimes you have to break up the plans. So if you have somebody disrupt what we're doing, which is Einstein said if you keep doing the same thing again, it's stupid.
No. You
It's
do the same thing
paraphrasing.
over and
Insanity.
expect a
Different result.
There you
But
go.
I just
If you're doing the
clarified
same
it.
thing and you're getting the results, that's called success.
Yeah, but we're not. We're talking Pirates. So what's success? So that's why I paraphrase.
Well, they're doing the same
Einstein.
thing over and over again, and they're getting the same result.
Yes.
That could be failure then.
Well.
Philosophy. All right, I'm done. That's
Yeah, we dug deep. Answer Nick's question if you want. You can comment. Peggy Rohde's watching. Hello to all. And I like when she says this, handsome panel.
That's right.
Watching from Rochester, Nick and Peggy, we salute you. Thank you. Pete Kasick's watching, Kayla Michelle, and 3 others that won't come up. We're having a little Facebook difficulties. All right, we got to go. What's on your mind, Mike Rohde?
I'm going to stick a little bit with everything we've been talking about with the Pirates. Lord knows I've not been very friendly to them on the show.
Well, you
haven't.
section. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Let's go back in time, 8-9 years last time they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everything clicked, right? When you're either a small market team or if you choose to be a small market team, which I think the Pirates are a little bit of both, everything has to work perfectly.
Yeah.
Right? A.J. Burnett at the time was a junk pile guy. No one expected
Yeah,
A.J.
but the
Burnett to do
Yankees
a
were
thing.
paying part of his salary, so we got the benefit.
That goes to show you. The Yankees didn't even want him, and they were still paying him.
Thank you.
Russell Martin, the Pirates outbid the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted that guy. He came here, he was an all-star. He left
Right.
here, he was a middle of the road guy again. My point is, everybody they got at that time clicked, right? I said
Yeah.
at the beginning of this Pirates season that there's 2 guys in my mind who really needed to take major steps. Brian Hayes and Jack Sawinski. Neither of them did.
Oh, Sawinski went right in the toilet.
Right in the toilet. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but
And he hits.
by them not clicking, that set the entire thing back. Now, Nick, to answer your question, what can they go out and do? It's a great point. I hadn't thought of that. Like everybody that they're competing with, those 5-6 teams are not going to give up anybody. There's probably some people to take, like in the lower echelons, the White Sox or somebody
Marlins
probably
and
have
the
a
Rockies.
player.
That's the only
right?
2 National League teams.
And you're not
Anyone
going to
from
get a
them?
big bopper now anyway because nobody's hitting right now. The pitchers are too good. Me and Marco and my wife watched that Disney movie, The Rookie, Dennis
Yeah.
Quaid.
I
And
watched it.
I remember the scout said, if I don't tell them I got a guy who throws 98, I'm going to get fired. They throw 98 in the Little League now, right? So the pitchers are so
And they
dominant
get
now.
Tommy John surgery next
Right.
year.
Pitchers are so dominant, no one's doing well.
No,
So
yeah.
could they go
Got it.
and get a bunch of guys and clear out their farm system and get a bunch of guys
Yeah.
just to get in? There's an argument for that. I get it. There's been arguments for that around town. But really, you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. Right. And for what? Chances are not very good they're going to do well. What I think you do, Nick, and no one's going to want to hear this, particularly after Friday night. We were at that game, me and Marco and Michael, when they ran out of fireworks with all the home runs.
Yes.
And that was fantastic. That was one of the most electric Pittsburgh sporting events I'd ever been to.
Rhodey and his
It was sold out.
and Johnny.
It was wonderful. They're not going
watched the whole game, too.
unless they're about 10 games over 500 when the trade deadline comes up, which they're not going to be, right? They've clearly missed the window for this year. But, and I'm not going to say anything about the ownership, about this. That is what it is, and it's not going to change.
Well, it's not.
I'm tired of complaining about it,
Well,
right?
we all
And as
know.
much as I've tried to drop the Pirates and not watch them anymore, I can't. I just can't.
You even
right?
went to a game.
I
and
even
spent
went
money.
to the third game this year.
You're helping the billionaire.
So, and I'll probably go to more because Marco will make me take them. But anyway, so
Marco.
they're going to miss their window this year, but they've got a core, right? They got Davis, but these guys have to come back and they have to play. Davis, Sawinski, Hayes. They got a future All-Star in Cruz. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
They've now got a future All-Star
Can
at
they
second
teach
base.
him to slide?
Yeah, maybe. They've got players, they've got places. The guys just have to come together. I'm not saying they all have to be all-stars for the rest of their careers. They have to come together for that little window that we have right now that in my mind is kind of set. You got the pitching, you've got to have those guys come back. What I would do, Nick, is if you're nowhere near, even if you are near, it's not worth it to me to get rid of all your prospects because that's how you got to play it when you're one of these small market teams. You trade everybody who's on a one-year deal. Rowdy you're going to get something for, and people are going to lose their mind. How ironic is it that a couple of months ago everybody would run that guy out of town?
Yeah.
Now everybody would lose their mind if they trade him. How we change our minds, right? But you're going to get something for him. You're going to get something for McCutchen. I know that's a sin to even mention, but you're going to get something for him.
No!
Anybody who is on a one-year deal, I would trade and get something for, either for next year or for 2 years after that. Because in my mind, right now, you've got about 4 seasons for things to click. If you can get that Russell Martin, if you can get that extra A.J. Burnett, you can get those extra guys you get who either have many career years within that, or you sign somebody off the scrap heap who comes in and lights it up,
Can we sign
then
McCutchen
you've got something. Now, I think I love McCutchen, but I think his windows.
window-
He gets on base every game.
He does. Look, I'll give you this. If he finishes the season the way he's gone the entire way, he's a bench player. He's a bench player for a good team. He's not your everyday DH. But what I'm saying is, what I would do is I get rid of everybody who's on a one-year deal right now, play out the season, and then you've got a couple of more years to see what happens. Because guess what's going to happen in a couple of years? Cruz is going to be on the Dodgers.
And
Paul Skeens is going to be with the Yankees.
He's only here till 29.
Exactly. Probably
See,
not.
he's got a plan
and probably
for this.
before that, because these arbitration years are going to come
Yeah.
in, and the guy's probably going to be 42-3 with a 1 ERA in that time. They're going to have to pay him $30 million in arbitration. They're not going to do that. Right. So they got after this season, they have 3, maybe 4 years to try to make everything click. So next year, if it's the same things going on, get rid of those guys again, keep your core, and see if they can click. And if they don't, they don't. And that's just the way it is. And if that's insanity from doing the same thing over again, so be it. What else do they have? They're not going to go and sign whoever your top 10 free agents on the market are going to be this offseason. Mark my words, the Pirates aren't going to get any of them.
Oh, we know that already.
Right? So,
Yeah.
but again, that just is what it is. I'm tired of complaining about it.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to do it. Marlon Byrd, sign that guy. He was way better than he was for the Pirates than he was for the year before. My point is everybody clicked right there. And you're right, they happen to run into the buzzsaw that was the Cardinals, who won one more game than they did that year.
Yeah.
So they had to play the playoffs, or play in the
Wild card
in the
game.
playoffs. Then the wild card game, they got knocked out by Baumgartner for the Giants, who was the best pitcher of the
At the
year.
time, yeah.
And what was his name for
Jake
the Cubs?
Arrieta.
Jake Arrieta.
Yeah.
They ran
Best pitcher of the
into
year.
those buzzsaws. So they had bad luck within that window, but that window clicked for them. They just have to hope that it does again. And will it? I don't know, but that's all we got. But I think that, everybody's emotional and wants them to think more, we got a shot now, But really?
It's the roller
That's the
coaster.
emotional way to do it. I get it. Once you get in, you never know.
Well,
But
if nothing
really-
didn't conflict with the
But
With the
that, you know what? But again,
We're
that's
trying
like,
to figure
that's
out-
like going outside and swinging at the raindrops because it's raining, Nick. It's never going to
Whoa.
change. It's
We've
like,
never
it's like
had
getting
that
mad-
said on
It's like getting
Pittsburgh
mad at a shark for
Sportsline.
biting off someone's arm. It's just what sharks do. They're not going to do anything different than they are now. They're going to have the bottom 4 payroll in the league. That's never going to change. It just isn't. So they have to go by what I think is the formula I just mentioned. It's a little bit of this.
Mike,
finding the
I
right
got to
guys.
thank an NFL guy and a football guy thinking deep, putting business concerns in here and logic. Never do we have that all put together. That's brilliant. The only thing I agree with Nick, we got a retirement contract for McCutcheon, 1 year, $5 million.
He wants to play next year.
Yeah, made his wife and
Sure he
kids.
does.
His wife and kids in Pittsburgh are ecstatic.
His son's name's Steele, for goodness sakes.
Then they re-upped him for another $5 million. The wife said we can have a 5th kid and get a bigger house. So he'll be here for another year because he wants to be. He knows he's done. He's laughing all the way to the bank with $5 million. He didn't even need to make all that money previously.
Well, let's face it. Why they signed him? As soon as they signed him last year, they stuck him on all the posters.
And look who's with
and
it.
everything. Yeah, it was a nice signing. It turned out better than I thought it would, for sure.
Me too.
No doubt about it. But you know,
After they stopped batting
but-
cleanup.
right. I mean, I'm sorry, he's not an everyday player.
Put
and
him
I
at
think they're
7th
finally
in the
starting to
batting
realize
order and
that.
let it
He's
rip.
been a great leadoff.
I know
Yeah,
he's done well.
he's been okay. You know,
I'm worried about the
but
He's in the
crash.
top 3 in home runs for the team.
leadoff hitters don't matter anymore with the DH. The number 4 hitter, the cleanup doesn't matter anymore with the DH, right? Because you can move, because that was all based on the pitcher batting ninth. That's all that was when it wraps around. So it matters.
You're bringing up analytics and statistics. Most
just my
people
opinion.
throw it out except the ones in charge and want to be cheap.
There you go.
And we have that here. I never thought of it like that, but that was very good. I salute you on that, Mike.
Thank you.
Except for Kutch. We need him one more year because guess what? We're not going to be in the wild card.
Hey, listen, with McCutcheon, all those little seizing, all the little pieces that come in, leadership, right? That's a guy who, in a team, if everything clicks next year, he could be that piece of that puzzle. That's the leadership.
See, Nick, we're
It all
working
comes.
on,
That's what I'm saying.
We got
You
a
never know.
chance.
It all has to come together for a team.
We-
like the
I planted
Kansas City
that
Royals.
seed. I'm watering.
Kansas City Royals. It all came together for them that year, and they won the World Series. Everybody, a couple guys had
I
1 year
remember.
career years. Pitchers came out of nowhere. No one ever heard of any of those guys ever again. But for that 1 year, they clicked.
I'm
They're
sold.
finally done. So.
I'm sold except for Kutch, but we got him leaning a little bit. We'll end it on that. He's leaning. I forget what's on my mind. Unbelievable.
Pirates, Steelers, Penguins.
Caitlin Clark. Remember you said you were talking.
Well, so many people were upset about Caitlin Clark, but before I get into it, 14-2 Bucco game, 2 grand slams, 7 home
They
runs.
ran out of fireworks.
I watched the whole game. When does Zambelli run out of fireworks? That's a first in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates did it. We had another first. Keller's the 4th pitcher in Pirate history to, what did he have, 10 wins, 100 innings, and 100 strikeouts. Wow. Imagine, we've been around since, 1876? Smoking Jim would know. But he's only the 4th pitcher to do that, and me being an ex-pitcher, I salute him on that. Jared Jones, now he's on the IR, so we'll see what happens. Skeens, he's not a leader, but what he is, Smoking Jim, you've missed the whole point because he was never a pitcher. He's a great pitcher that he can keep you in every game. And what the problem is, he's only 5-0 in 10 games. That's the problem. Caitlin Clark, just read about her. She's doing things that nobody's done. She did the first ever triple-double in WNBA. And people go, Angel Reese has got double-doubles. Oscar Robertson, one of the greatest basketball players, had triple-doubles for a whole year. Yeah. Russell Westbrook had triple-doubles too. Who even cares about double-doubles and triple-doubles? When you talk assists and playmaking that Caitlin Clark does, they've noticed and watched games. I've watched a half dozen of her games. She throws passes before she even thinks of shooting the ball, and she hits open women, and that's who's playing the game. And guess what they do? They don't score. If every pass where they're wide open going in for a little bunny, that means a little layup, they haven't made them all. What would she be doing now? She's leading the league in that as a rookie. She's doing things that nobody's done, and they don't recognize it because they're haters. My daughter told me in this day and age with social media, there's people that like you, then they hate you on social media. Well, we got it right on the court. I've seen fouls. I played football. Guys are cheating. Guys would gouge you in the eyes. I'm talking back in the 70s, let alone what I saw on TV and stuff. They're always cheating. Smoking Jim's the proponent of, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Now, I'm against all that, but when you're slugging a woman player that's half the size of you and you're calling her names and swearing before you get there, guess what? I've watched sports my whole life. If you tell me that's normal behavior, WNBA shouldn't even be around. They've lost money every year, and they have a gold mine, and their sales and things on merch are out of control. They made more money. How about the Fever sold out more games than they ever did in their whole history? So, I mean, I'll keep rooting for her because I was right with what I said. The carryover from college, 1.1 million people watching Caitlin Clark's games. Every game she goes to, they sell out. Imagine in a man's sport if you said somebody was doing that. So not only we got sexist, racism, and everything else, it's all coming together in a child sport. So what's wrong, America? Wake up. I salute all of you. Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac coming up in 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Hey, we couldn't do it without Linda. But I tell you what, Nick, the reason I was laughing because Chance was making fun of my pirate hat because it was red and black. That's why he had me cracking up. But hey, I got the bazooka. Nobody can turn down the bazooka, brother.
Can I have one?
Yeah.
Pass it around.
As soon as I open it, I got to get the first piece. It's bad luck for my
I
crystal
insist. Come
ball.
on. Go ahead.
It's
I
bad
insist.
luck for my crystal ball if I don't get the first.
If you have a
Why don't you
crystal
open that and I'll
bring
read
it out right now. Bring the crystal ball out now.
Can I read what's on your paper?
No, you may not be able to read my writing, but here
It's typed.
I want to. And you guys may you guys
Might not be able to read his typing.
no, you guys may not agree with this. But here's my top 10.
Before you tell me, I disagree.
You disagree. Here's my top 10 Pittsburgh Pirates of all time. And the freshman.
He doesn't know the
freshman
Pirates.
sensation, Mikey, helped me out with some of these. Number 1, Roberto Clemente. Number 2, Ralph Kiner.
Don't you usually go reverse order?
Number 3, Honus Wagner.
Yeah.
Number 4,
Nick, this is a Pittsburgh Sportsline
Barry Bonds. How about number 5, Willie Stargell? His chicken wasn't any good on the heel, but
Yes, it was. I ate it. I had buckets of Willie's
I
chicken.
can see why that went out of business.
You know what? You never had it. It was delicious.
Woo! Number 6.
It was good.
Number 6, Pie Trainer. How about number 7, Bill Mazeroski? How about number 8, Dave Parker? And he should be in the Hall of Fame. Don't you agree?
No, Coke stopped him.
How about number 9A, Bobby Bonilla? Number 9B, my all-time favorite Pirate of all time, Andy Van Slyke. How about number 10A, Al Oliver, who don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
He don't
and
know
number
baseball.
10B, Paul Skeens, one of the greatest leaders I ever seen in an All-Star.
Here's why I disagree.
You agree with Paul Skeens in there?
No.
Oh, that's why you went in reverse.
Yeah.
Well, as I said before and on many shows,
Paul Skeens.
Smoking Jim.
If I could grow a mustache, you got to do the Paul Skeens mustache. You could.
I already did.
Smoking Jim's an entertainer.
You know how many girls you could get just with that mustache?
Smoking Jim. Did you ever hear or see a statue? Oh, you didn't see it, but there's a statue of the guy in the first class of Hall of Famers.
Roberto?
He never even knew this one. legendary pirate from Carnegie, PA, where Cowher grew
Honest
up.
Wagner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him on the list.
Say it
He
again.
was number 2.
Honest Wagner.
I just want him to say it.
Yeah.
He
Well, he's
wasn't
not
number one.
2. He's not number 2 because Ralph Kiner. Ralph Kiner's
Who-
number 2.
Which one
Honest
did you-
Wagner's number 3.
Which
Barry
one-
This
Bonds
is what
number
I'm
4.
talking
Which one did you
about.
say isn't and doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Al Oliver.
Did you say that again real quick?
Al Oliver.
Oh, okay.
Hey, wasn't
Make
it
sure.
Bobby Bonilla Day a couple days ago?
Yes. Another $1 million paycheck.
$1 million for Bobby
Beginning of
Bonilla.
July 1st every year. I got to clip that, though, and send that to somebody you know.
All in all, it's a pretty good list, don't you think?
No.
No, it's terrible.
No, hey, Paul Haley said, good evening, gentlemen. We appreciate you calling us gentlemen. Smoking Jim is a model, in quotes, journalist. Paul, you're on fire here. And I just had to put my 2 cents in on Smoking Jim. I did disagree.
What kind of bazooka is purple?
Throw one down here.
This is terrible for
Here,
television.
you
Chomp,
do
chomp.
the
I was
throwing.
going to say.
You do the throwing.
Whoa!
You do the throwing.
Whoa,
No,
okay.
none, I'm good. None for me. Thank you.
I've been chewing this since I was 5 years old.
We actually probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Good catch.
I'll take over the rest of the show, I suppose.
Oh, wait.
Going
There's,
without a mouthful.
Nobody
of
can
that.
turn down bazooka.
no, it only lasts for a few minutes. So when we were kids, it seemed like all day.
Nick's going to save his for after a second.
Hold it, wait. My Bazooka Joe.
What are we doing?
Hi, Pesty. Hi, Joe. Did you get any bites yet? He got a fishing rod. I don't think my worm is really trying.
That's actually pretty good.
You gotta love these. Here, wait. Get a close-up chance.
I was ready to really bury that, but that's actually pretty funny.
Oh, is it hard? Wait, it sucks. I can't talk anymore. I can't talk.
Look at that guy's doing a big string.
I can't talk. Go ahead. Carry on.
You gotta.
Nick, VIP
Nick,
Callis.
VIP
time.
Callis. In 5 seconds.
All right, it's loosening up.
Bazooka's great. That's the opinion today. There you go.
I can talk again.
Okay. We're
Thank you, Smoking Jim.
The Steelers. That's what I want to talk about right now. The Steelers. That's why I wore the shirt. Cam Sutton got suspended for 8 games, and now we gotta talk because there's a lot of things that this means. And before anybody comes at me with, he did the abuse thing, right? I get that. I want to look at this from a Steelers perspective, though, not so much. It was wrong, and it was not good, and I want everybody to know that up front. It was not a good thing that he did, and that shouldn't happen. With that being said, I want to look at this from a Steelers perspective now because I think it's an interesting case study in terms of like how they've been doing things all season. They had to have known that this was going to happen. And they had to have been prepared to do whatever they were going to do with him being not on the team. But it's weird because they don't seem to have the depth in place that you feel like you can trust surely to win you games. They've got guys. They're not experienced guys, though. Same thing with the wide receivers. They've got a bunch of wide receivers. Actually, not even a bunch. They've got enough. They've got barely enough. But they don't have, the experience that you might need to do well. So this is all making me think about, again, the difference between what they've done before and what they've done now, or what they're doing now. And it all kind of, to me, just circulates toward this different approach that they're taking. I feel like the Steelers of the past would, Kevin Colbert or the Rooneys would not have touched Cam Sutton based on the severity of the allegations and the likelihood of discipline. They just don't touch that stuff. And I think about that, and then I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. This is kind of cool. They trust Cam Sutton enough to give him a second chance at working in the NFL because the Lions released him. They didn't want anything to do with it. So the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, and I'm sure this was his decision, they've got a strong enough relationship. They know what's going on with Cam Sutton. They trust him enough that they believe he's going to come back in 8 weeks, and he's going to stay out of trouble, and he's going to have a second chance to play football, and he's going to do it at a level that they can use him and be a good football team. That's what it seems like. It's weird, and it's interesting again because, again, this is something the Steelers really have not done. They haven't touched these situations, and now they're doing it, which just it adds it to the long list of things that they've been doing. You know, from firing Matt Canada up until now, there's a long list of things that they've done that they've never done before. And again, the abuse thing, not cool. But all these moves coming together make me very interested in this team. And I am uncomfortable for the first time with the Steelers than I've been in a long time. And I'll ask you guys as well. I think it's an interesting question. When's the last time you went into a season for the Steelers where you have been concerned about the players that are going to be on the field? Would they have enough experienced guys?
Last year. The year before that.
Really?
Yeah, last couple of years.
Experienced guys.
Well, starting with the quarterback, that's why this year is such a
But you knew what you were getting out of Pickett. It wasn't like that was a surprise.
No,
everybody thought coming out last year they was going to be all pro right after that preseason.
No, I didn't. I
See,
drank
exactly.
the Kool-Aid, but
Yeah.
but I never wanted him here.
There were the few fanboys, but most people were like, he's got to prove himself.
It all depends on, in my opinion, the quarterback, as with any team. Right.
Good
but,
point.
You know, with what you saw Mason Rudolph do, just play, above average quarterback play. They went on a run, and frankly, we should have won that playoff game. So
yeah. Right, but they learned from that. If Pickett doesn't get hurt, Mason Rudolph never gets a shot.
Well, that's why exactly.
And they have a losing season.
But do you see what I'm saying?
The streak would have been over.
The whole point is that you knew what they were going to do. It was a predictable set. It was a predictable personnel. You knew that Kenny Pickett was going to play. And you had an expectation based on his previous years of what he was going to do, and you had an expectation of what he was going to do playing at Pitt.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you.
They've signed a lot of safe veteran guys before that you felt like were the right choice that might not have mixed with the team, but they had enough depth to get through. They've had enough guys that they signed where you're like, you know what? Might not be the greatest pick. Mitch Trubisky was one of them, just to stick with the quarterbacks. They've had enough guys over time where you're like, you know what? This guy could work out. We know what we're getting here. They're making similar signings. They're making similar acquisitions. They're keeping it regular.
This is we're going to see how their desperation to win a playoff game plays out.
That's my point exactly.
That's exactly exactly what is going on here.
You're on my path.
Let's not forget, fellas, that I put a curse on the Steelers in 2010 when they backstabbed Antonio Holmes.
Mute number 4, gentlemen.
I lifted.
I don't want to hear you right now.
I'm talking Super Bowl. I'm predicting Super Bowl.
I don't want to hear you right now. Come on, stay with me. See,
here, Nick. I'll cut to the chase a little. Since 2 years before Ben left us, they should have had quarterbacks set up. So I knew we'd have problems for 5 years.
But it's not even about the problems. We're talking about.
No, but then the other thing is when you have a Hall of Fame future quarterback, a lot of these things aren't visible. Because he can bring you back in every game. His history was that as a rookie year, he came back 6 times. And he did it his whole career. Now they had little pieces, and Colbert was good at having the pieces you're talking about.
Correct.
So I'm trying to build that you don't have as much doubt as we do now.
Yes.
Because I'm against all abuse. Not only is it terrible, I have no tolerance for it. Abuse against men, children, animals,
but this is bigger
whatever.
What I'm talking about is
bigger than Sutton. He should have never been. Omar Khan conned us. They shouldn't have taken him. They thought he was like Big Ben when he was supposed to get suspended 4 games and he got away with 2. So I mean,
whole different point though. I understand what you're saying.
But when
you're not wrong. But
when you're going to get suspended, even 2 games, 4 games, what are you planning? They showed no plan, Nick.
Exactly.
I understand. I'm backing you up.
Right.
I'm saying the same thing.
Yes.
But where I'm coming from is a different angle on it. Kenny Pickett, I am on the record with shows saying we shouldn't have picked him. When you have the worst quarterback draft, I'll repeat it, and you only have 2 quarterbacks to get, and you pick them in the first round, I'd have picked them in the 3rd round. So carry on, expert.
Did you have something to?
Oh, I was just going to say, Al said, or something now. So that said, giving your head coach a 3-year extension kind of blows that up in everybody's face, too.
that sucks.
So I'm not exactly sure what that strategy is. Somewhere there's a whiteboard in the Steeler office with a plan. That's the part that threw me when they gave him the extension. I know they don't like to have the lame duck thing going on. That's why Cowher wasn't here last year.
It goes back
in his
to
contract,
Dan Rooney, yeah.
I don't.
Maybe they'll fire him after this year if they do bad enough, and he'll just get paid to sit at home. They're starting that trend. Maybe we'll see it. But the point I was trying to make there too is that there's some level of uncomfort where you don't know what Russell Wilson's going to do. You don't know what Justin Fields is going to do. You don't know what the wide receiver core is going to look like. The secondary seems to be getting a little weaker as we look. You've got players that you don't know what they're going to do. You've got a bunch of draft picks that are intriguing, and, D- is on par with Smoking Jim, but it seemed like a pretty decent draft. You've got a linebacker with no, what are they, the ACLs or whatever? He has no, so that's nuts. So I'm sitting here right now for the first time not thinking the Steelers could do well. They're going to be serviceable. They're going to be in the hunt. I'm looking at this now with a level of uncomfort where I'm like, you know what? They're really either going to do it.
You really should say you don't know because they're going to the Super Bowl. That's what you saying. We don't know.
No, I definitely said I.
Yeah, no,
I said I'm uncomfortable.
You include
No, you're sitting on the same.
Everybody.
You're sitting.
Just help me
on the
out.
same time.
Didn't I say I'm uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
No, I did. I
You heard me say it. I'm uncomfortable.
I wasn't listening to him again.
I don't know what to expect. Or did I say? Anyway, we don't know.
You
I don't
already
know.
said that.
Okay, Smoking can see the future. It's mostly an unknown though. What they're going to do because they have a whole different personnel of players now. They've got a different outlook. They are approaching the season differently, and it's unique and it's interesting and it could yield rewards.
Well, here I have a question for all of us, except Smoking Jim. Super Bowl. What do you think their record? Will they keep their streak of 17 years in a row alive, being a winning team? Yes or no?
If they're going to do it,
No, just like it is. Yes or no?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, without question.
They'll be
Without question.
They're
'Cause
gonna say,
every team has its X factors, Nick, to your point, but I think they've got the talent and they've added to it, and I think they've got.
They're either going to win spectacularly or they're going to fail spectacularly.
Here, let me ask Al his point.
Could be any team, any year.
Yes or no? The streak continues. And I'm on the record. Russell Wilson, if he gets 28 touchdown passes, will be in the playoffs, and we might get to the second round. I just wanted to get it out there because we got to move on a little. Your points are well taken.
I mostly like what they've done, though. That's kind of the opinion. I like what they've done because it creates a level of uncertainty that makes them interesting.
No, very good.
Yes.
Ann Harder, Double Bubble, Chief McElroy, Big League Chew, Ralph Williams, hello, guys. QBs and lines of scrimmage. I concur with you, Ralph.
Yep.
We're going to go to Ragin' Rhodey time now for his family in Rochester, New York. Here.
All right, Nick, I'm going to stick with Steelers.
Of course.
First of all, can we just let out a sigh of relief that they're only 3 weeks away from starting?
Wow.
Kind of brings a little bit of a tear to my eye, to be honest with you. I can't believe how fast every year it creeps up on you.
I
right?
know, it does.
But anyway, I'm actually going to address one position. You mentioned it, receiver, because that, to me, is the one glaring hole. Mm-hmm. And you've heard so much chatter about this in the last couple of months. It's all Brendan Ayuk. And what I would say about that, no, we're not going to get him. I don't think we do, because if they did, say goodbye to Pickens, right? Because they're not going to pay two guys $30 million a year. Only the Miami Dolphins are dumb enough to do that.
Good point.
Right? So, if you bring in Ayuk, it's your, Pickens is just there on a talk about lame duck. He's just a lame duck wide receiver on the other side, and we all know he's got a kind of a fragile head. So I think that would cause major problems throughout. You'd end up getting benched halfway through the year. I think they know that. Where they missed the boat was when Mike Williams was a free agent. He was supposed to go to the Jets and the
yeah.
Steelers, and he never left New York. And I was like, that was a bad idea. He should have come to Pittsburgh
remember,
first.
yeah.
They should have flew him first class to get him here. He'd have been a perfect fill-in. Because now I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. The only guy who's really out there in the market right now, I think, that fits the bill is Michael Thomas, who's still coming back from, his third ACL, something like that. And he's still, they say he's healthy by all accounts. He's kind of waiting for the right situation.
But for how long will
That's
it be?
that's my dark horse for who they bring in, because they need a guy just like that, a guy who doesn't need to be number one, who used to be a number one, right? Who's still got some talent, hopefully, still catch 60, 70 balls. Because they're gonna the tight ends are gonna get worked in quite a bit, right? And they're not gonna have to rely extremely heavily on the wideouts. But that other side is a huge hole. I'm sure maybe Roman Wilson is gonna be fantastic, but it's hard to assume he's gonna be Puka Nacua on his first rookie season, right? So when you don't have that guy on the other side right now, I don't even know who. Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson. Who the hell are they?
How about a Fryermuth lining up out there?
Exactly. Well, maybe. Because right now, it's the way that works is now you've got triple coverage on Pickens.
Yeah.
Right? And you better hope these guys get open. And if they can be covered single coverage, you've got problems. I don't care how good your line is.
Well,
There's
before
not
you
gonna be
go
anybody open to throw
before
to.
you go too far, how long can the offensive line with rookies and Open Door Moore hold the rush back? Because Russell Wilson is known to look to the outside and then run. He doesn't even look at the middle. They could be open in the middle, but he can't see to hit them.
Well, first of all,
That's my worry.
I think you're right there. I think the offensive line is going to be much better in the second half than in the first half, right? I think they can skate through struggle through the first half. Even though I know the second half is a much tougher schedule.
I know. This year,
if
the
they
Tomlin
can get
effect
through
won't
500
work.
or game over in the first half, I think they'll be better positioned. The other thing I think they're going to do, and they better do this, or someone should lose their job, is they
heard it here.
They need to put QB2 in there in a slash roll.
I like it.
Inside the 10 particularly, RPO, but even when it's third and whatever, third and short, third and long, he should be in there. So
If he doesn't fumble, let him run. We're going to go to on location just immediately. Don't show that great graphic.
sorry about that.
I said I wanted to go with 30 seconds. You gave me 48.
Nice.
So we're good. We got an August 24th under the Homestead Bridge, 3rd Avenue Gym. Smoking Jim and I will be announcing boxing. We'll see if Nick's there. We'll see if Michael's there. We'll be live streaming it there. Coliseum Combat Zone, my LLC with MMA fights. We're going to do it officially. It's coming up soon. So we'll announce it and have some information in the next week or so. I'm very excited with it, and we'll tell you how to go to All-American Fieldhouse, get tickets, come on out and see it. We're calling it There Is a New Way in MMA. So you'll see something completely different in Pittsburgh. Please stay Joey strong.